My name is Bela Krajina and I'm a student of geology on the University of Ljubljana. Me and Boštjan were cooperating in the project of opening this museum. We covered the geological part of it. So we start the geological presentation. If we look Slovenia more closely, we can divide it in three segments. Kind of the Dinarical part, Slovenian Basin part, and the Julian part. Chernomel is situated in the Dinarite part, and these were shallow waters where the Mesozoic carbonates formed. In the Upper Triassic, Slovenia was the uniform carbonate platform called the Slovenian platform. And in the Upper Triassic it fell apart on three segments. The first segment was the Dinarite carbonate platform, and then the second part was the Slovenian Basin, which was the deepened part of the Slovenia, and the clastic rocks were sedimented there. And the third part was the Julian carbonate platform, where also carbonate rocks formed, but they are different than from the Dinarite ones. On this picture we see the tectonical plates in the Upper Jurassic stages, the African tectonical plate, the microtectonical plate of Adriatical Apulian, where the Slovenia lies. We see it's more shallow, so carbonate could form, and the upper part is the European plate. The tectonical features during this time was extensional tectonic, and this place went apart. So new oceans were formed. One of the oceans was the Alpine Tethys, which is very important because during the Upper Cretaceous time the European plate subducted under the Adriatical Apulian plate, which thrusted over the European plate and formed the Alpine mountains. This is the geological map of Bela Krajina. We can see it on it. We can see the geological features. The lines are the faults, and with different colors, different rocks, different ages are marked. The oldest rocks which are on surface are the Upper Triassical Dolomites. The blue are the Jurassical limestones and dolomites, and the green parts are different limestones that formed during the Cretaceous time. This yellow part here is the Kanižarica Basin, which is filled with lake sediments and thick coal layers. This is where the mining was, and the youngest rocks in Bela Krajina are this here and that part, and it's due to alluvial working of the Kopa river, which sedimented the sediment during the high waters, during the floods. The two important lines that form the Bela Krajina is the Dinaridical tectonical line and the Balaton line. These are the normal faults which lowered the surface and formed the Bela Krajina basin as we see it now. The oldest rocks that appear on the surface are the Upper Triassical Dolomites. Inside we can see stromatolites that are formed in the tidal flats. in very shallow sea. Later in the Jurassic, the environment of the sea was more lagoonal, so these black limestones formed. Inside we can see the sponges, and the black color gives us the information that very high bioproduction was that time in the sea. In the upper Jurassic, in Slovenia and also in Bela Krajina, we had a very big coral reef. You can imagine like we have in Australia now, the great coral reef. In this stone you can see corals here, and on the surface like they're visible like that. In the Upper Cretaceous, sea was also shallow, but more clear limestones were sedimented, and at the final stages of Cretaceous, because of the rising of the mountains of the Alps and the subduction, flysch sequence was formed. The flysch sequence is seen like that. These are calcarenites. Then we have marls and sandstones. This is formed with landslides. If we imagine, we have this slope, and the rocks are sedimented here, but they are not lithified. And during that stage, if the angle is too high, the landslide forms, and the grains are different size on their size, and so that's why we get the different stones. This is the most granular, and if we go up, there are smaller granules of rocks.